So you probably heard about Arc Raiders, a game that was teased many years ago, made by Embark Studios, who also made the finals. And originally it was Arc Raiders that got us interested in what this studio was cooking up. And with our time playing the game, guys, we have a lot to say about it. Extracted shooters are popping up left and right, which is what I really wanted to bring up today. Does Arc Raiders have something special here? So let's start with first, what is Arc Raiders? This is a third-person extraction shooter developed by Embark Studios, and it's set in a future where humanity clings to survival underground, while the surface of Earth is controlled by swarms of lethal machines called Arc. Think of the Matrix, but without the Matrix parts. Now, you're a raider who fetches supplies from the surface to support the city of Speranza. And this sets up your classic extraction shooter loop. Launch a mission, loot supplies while fighting off AI robots and enemy raiders, extract alive, repeat. Now, each round lasts 30 minutes. You'll spawn at a semi-random location around the edges of the map, and you'll be given several extraction points, each with their own countdown timer, where you'll need to extract before the entire map is wiped. Now, when you arrive back home, the materials you extracted with can be sold for coins, recycled for parts, or used to craft more weapons and gear that you could take with you on future runs. Over time, you'll earn XP to level up your skill tree, increasing your overall strength the longer that you play, which takes us to the development of this game. If you've been following Arc Raiders, then you know it's been a long time coming. Almost 4 years ago, Embark Studios, which is a studio founded by ex-members of DICE, unveiled their initial trailer at the 2021 Game Awards. And at the time, Arc Raiders was set to be a free-to-play looter shooter, releasing in 2022. However, shortly afterwards, plans changed. Embark had been working on 3 separate projects simultaneously, and one of them, a PvP-focused game, began to show a lot of promise. So the studio actually shifted their timelines to push out the finals in 2023. Now, let me just say the finals was one of my favorite PvP games ever. You don't see many arena shooters coming out these days, and the finals really brought something different with its class systems, its different weapon types, its destructible environments, and its tournament-style vibe. It was fantastic. Now, it was during that time frame that Arc Raiders had some fundamental changes. After adding PvP to the game, Embark decided Arc Raiders needed to be an extraction shooter, and that it would be releasing at a premium price point of $40, which I know these days is a lot to ask. Now, they announced an alpha, but lots of information was kept secret, so we didn't hear much about the game until tech testing began, which brings us to today. I've actually played this game through multiple playtests, and yes, I have seen it at some of its jankiest stages, but the game has really come a long way, guys. When you jump in after you complete the short tutorial, you'll be brought to the city of Speranza, and here is where you have your main hub. You can see your current challenges, your quests, the different navigation tabs, and you can queue to enter a match. Now, the different tabs actually contain traders, and it's here that you'll be able to deal in different wares. Think of these as almost like factions. You got Titan Wind, where you buy guns, Apollo, who has gadgets, Lance, who has medical supplies. You get the gist. Each of these vendors will trade coins for gear and will give you quests to complete in-game. Now, as you level up, you'll unlock stronger items to purchase. This is one of several systems in the game that is geared towards that long-term progression. Now, what I didn't like about the Trader tab was that the background was just a still image. In one of the opening cutscenes, we see the same scene, but the people are actively talking and working in the city, which makes it feel very alive. But in the menu, it feels kind of dead. But hey, I'm also that guy that wants a social hub with the people that I'm about to go fight against. Now, this takes us to the workshop. This is where everything crafting lives. Different gear can be crafted using different workbenches. And to get more workbenches, you need to extract more materials. Now, you'll want to unlock these quickly, as they significantly increase the gear you can consistently take with you into a game. Which takes us to our characters. Underneath the character tab, you'll find appearance customization. Now, nothing really stands out here. There's some nice skins that you have to purchase using Raider tokens. I believe there's going to be paid currency. However, I did earn 40 tokens per level up in game, which means theoretically, after you've bought the game, you should be able to unlock everything. But again, monetization, not something you really know until, of course, the game is out. Now, there's also a mastery tracker that I honestly wouldn't worry about until the game fully releases. There's some good rewards tied to some of these challenges, including Raider tokens, but I don't really see players finishing many of these until they have more time to play. What we do care about, though, is the skill tree. The skill tree inside of Arc Raiders is tied to XP. Each time you level up, you are given a skill point, and you can spend those skill points in 3 separate categories. Now, there is some overlap, but generally each has their own unique benefits. Conditioning gives more stamina, strength, and increases your weight capacity. Mobility heightens the efficiency of all your movement abilities, and survival decreases noise, increases stealth, and reduces time to loot. Each one of these perks can be upgraded 5 times. Now, I heavily focused on mobility since I found found myself running a lot. I didn't see any options to reset the skill tree though, so hopefully over time, you can unlock all of these nodes. Now, for those wondering, is there a battle pass? Yes, actually, there's multiple battle passes. It seems like Embark has taken notes from Helldivers and how they set up their war bots. You see, each pass contains skins, currency, and some gadgets, and similar to skins, these passes require a premium currency. Now, each one was priced at 500 tokens, so you would need to level up 38 times to afford them all, assuming you're only earning tokens via level ups. With all that out of the way though, let's talk gameplay. This is probably going to be the most important portion of this video, even more so than the monetization. People just want to know, hey, is it a fun game? Now first, before you're able to enter the game, you're able to choose your loadout. This will include up to 2 weapons, ammo, a shield, heals, and any additional gear like grenades, traps, or barricades. Very typical of an extraction shooter. Now your raider has quick access slots on the right and 3 safe slots where anything that you place inside will stay with you even after death. Now there's also an augment slot where you can place equipment that gives your raider bonuses. For instance, the one that I used increased my inventory size, my weight capacity, and it allowed me to equip a better shield. But as you get further in the game, you'll be able to craft more. Now currently right now, there are 3 maps. You have Damn Battlegrounds, the Spaceport, and Buried City. Now my personal favorite was Spaceport specifically because of the scenery. Weather isn't dynamic, but each map appears to fall on a spectrum between sunny and stormy, and there are different times of the day, so you can expect to be playing either in broad daylight or in the evening or in the dead of night. Now when you do enter dark buildings, you have a flashlight that you'll need to rely on. Fortunately, it's not tied to a battery and it's not even on a cooldown. Now in terms of movement, you can walk, you can sprint, you can crouch, slide, dodge, and even mantle. There's ladders around and even zip lines that players can place to increase map traversal. Now after entering into a match, your next goal is essentially just to start looting. Many of the items you find either sell for coins or recycle for parts. However, some of the rare items include recipes to make new equipment back at home base. Now, if you come across a recipe, it's best that you store it in one of your safe slots to guarantee you take it with you. Now, different buildings on the map are marked as yellow or red, which signals there is more loot to be found there. Now, while you're exploring, there are a lot of audio cues that can give away your position. Footsteps, breathing, birds, cameras rigged with alarms, lots of things to keep you on your toes, as any noise you make has the potential to attract nearby raiders, which takes us to PvP. When fighting enemy raiders, you'll see little cues that indicate when you're doing damage to their shield. Their skin will light up with blue electricity, and after you've dealt enough damage, you'll actually hear a sound cue, which will alert you that the shield is down. Now, after enemy raider is down, a red flare will be launched skyward, alerting anyone in the vicinity that a fight is taking place here, which is kind of wild. Literally, there's no hiding on this, guys. You kill somebody, people are gonna know. So you better grab that loot and dip. Now, this game is entirely third person. There is no first person ADS option. You can swap between what shoulder your camera sits on, which is great for peeking angles. And in terms of the different weapons you could choose from, each gun takes a different type of ammunition, from light, medium, heavy, and energy. Now, the game tells you that heavy ammo is the most effective against arc armor plating, but that's about it from what I could gather. The more you level up, the more weapons you get access to craft. I was just using starting weapons for most of my sessions, but something I did note is that weapons do have durability. None of mine broke, at least during my play sessions. Marathon has a system in place that every time weapons change hands, it loses some durability so that eventually it does break. Now, I know a big question a lot of people ask when it comes to engagements, really inside of any game, but especially an extraction shooter, considering what's at stake, your gear. Do you have time to react to someone who gets the jump on you? You do, but again, everything is very gear dependent. Just like in other extraction games, the quality of your armor greatly affects this. And I personally like that you have time to react here, even if someone does get the jump on you. At the same time, if you get the jump on someone and you really just connect your shots, you can gun them down. But hey, maybe you don't want to do that. Perhaps you want to create alliances. Arc Raiders has proximity chats, and during our time playing, it led to some funny interactions. Luke actually had a match where he teamed up with another raider, and they just fought off drones and loot buildings together until they both extracted. However, there are other matches where you try to talk to someone and they kill you, which is kind of funny because immediately after that, an arc drone confronted him and killed him. Honestly, at this point, proximity chat just needs to be a feature in every extraction shooter. It just livens things up, which takes us to probably the most unique thing about Arc Raiders thus far. It's enemy AI. If you've ever seen one of the future war scenes in Terminator, I think you get the idea here. The Arc is essentially Skynet. Giant rocket drones, spinal ladder walkers. The only thing missing is Arnold. Trust me when I tell you, these robots are juiced. Taking out just a few ticks, rollers, or drones is no problem. But when the big guns roll in, your best bet is to stay out of sight or run like your life depends on it. On the final day of the playtest, the devs flipped a switch to add a robot called the Queen. I made the mistake of getting too close and was very lucky to escape with my life. I heard in one of the lobbies, 12 players took on this robot at once and still lost. Now granted, we only had a few play sessions to really get geared out. No one had a chance to even acquire advanced weaponry, so perhaps these walkers will be easier to take down after the full release. But from my experience, your main enemy in this game isn't other players, but actually enemy AI. And if you're smart, you're gonna want to team up with other players to take on these enemies. And that's why proximity chat exists. It's not there just for you to have a good old time. It's there because you need it. And when you take down the bigger targets, that will get you bigger rewards. Now, another point I also want to mention regarding the AI combatants is that unlike traditional pipelines of programming animations, the ARC here are trained using real physics and machine learning. So instead of programmed sets of movements, these drones learn how to fly. For instance, the spider tanks learn how to walk through real environments. And when they get shot, they don't just get staggered, they suffer real damage. I'll give you an example. While fighting against a Hornet drone, I ran out of ammo, but I had managed to take out one of its thrusters. So while the drone was struggling just above my head, I realized I could finish it off with my melee weapon. Now, I've never fought against enemy AI quite like this, and it leads to unique engagements every time. Now, I will say one of my complaints is their detection systems can be difficult to understand. I was able to successfully hide in some of the bushes from one drone, but later when I tried to hide from a Bastion, he obliterated me. I mentioned almost dying to the Queen earlier. The reason it aggroed me was because someone across the map shot it. So maybe the robots are working as attendants, but from my experience, it's difficult to figure out where or when these robots suddenly become aggressive. Which takes us to extracting. Extracting inside Arc Raiders, fairly simple. You reach an elevator before its countdown timer reaches 0, you activate the lift, you wait about 30 seconds, then you hop inside the elevator, stand at the console, and descend back into Speranza. Now, a lot can happen in those 30 seconds. Enemy players can burst out of hiding, a patrolling Arc can attack. It is a bit nerve-wracking, but that's really just part of the extraction genre. In my time playing, there was one instance where I survived, but I didn't extract in time. The elevator was across the map, I was pinned down by a sentry turret in a Bastion. There was nothing I could do. Now, as the clock hit 0, a meteor flew across the sky, impacted, and then black screen. Now, I was running away, so maybe I needed to face the explosion to see the giant fireball light up the sky, but personally, I thought it was a bit anticlimactic. My surroundings weren't blown away in a nuclear shockwave. The air around me didn't shine like the sun, just an explosion, car alarm, and black screen. Now, I know most of you are probably thinking, Cross, who cares? You're supposed to extract. I know, it's just one of those things that I feel like, hey, spice it up a bit more. If you happen to still be in there after the extract time runs out, dude, make it nuclear, right? Getting killed by a rocket drone during the match shouldn't be more exciting than the black screen at the end of the match. Which takes us to sound design. Embark really has nailed the sound design here, guys. It's easy to tell when enemies are approaching and where from. Footsteps, breathing, and gunshots are super clear. The entire game has this like retro futuristic theme that is fully embraced by the audio as well. From the buttons you press to the background music that plays while you sort your inventory, it's a 10 out of 10 vibe. Overall, guys, I think Arc Raiders presents something interesting, unique. And even for my folks that aren't that crazy about extraction shooters, I think my PvE players might even find this game interesting, just for its AI combatants. Luke, who primarily just plays PvE inside of Destiny, absolutely fell in love with this game this past week and pretty much played Arc Raiders every day over Marathon. The question is, does it got something here to stand not only against Marathon, but other extraction shooters? With a 2025 release date, a $40 price point, sci-fi based game, but also an extraction shooter, there's a lot of comparisons you can make here to Marathon. Obviously, the games look vastly different. I would say the biggest thing here is whether or not the people are going to enjoy the gunplay, considering it is a third-person shooter, which was quite a surprise for me, considering that the finals was a first-person shooter. Whatever reason, though, they took this approach, and after my time playing with it, I get it. Like, I really do understand why they made it a third-person shooter. It just feels right. Time will tell, guys. We will definitely be keeping an eye on this one. So far, I'm enjoying it, and I'm definitely interested to see where this thing goes from now until release. Fellas and ladies, thank you all for coming and watching, and as always,
slap that like button like your mama told you right.